All right, it looks like everybody's here. I'll read the initial thing. Unless Sarah, do you want to read the preamble?
Sure, I'll go ahead.
Okay, thanks.
Good evening and welcome to the Library Advisory Board meeting. We are glad you are here. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Due to the recent changes to Oregon Public Meeting Law, our meeting will now be recorded. Once the video is processed, once the video is processed by the city web team, it will be published on our board webpage for public viewing. All the public attendees are invited to participate in the meeting at the designated opportunities. If you could like to make a comment or a question, use the raise hand function on Zoom to indicate so, and we will unmute your microphone for you to share. You can also use the chat feature at any time or submit a question using the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. Thank you.
Perfect, thanks, Sarah. It looks like everybody's here. So I'm gonna start us off with some introductions since it's a brand new year. Let's have everybody say their name, how long they've lived in Beaverton, and name a recent book that they've read. I'll go first, and I'm Andrew Love, the chair. I've been in Beaverton, I think, 4 or 5 years now. And a recent book I've read is actually the One Beaverton book, Cold Millions, and I really enjoyed it. So we'll just go around. I'll pick people just on the order on my Zoom thing, so it'll be kind of random. Kristin, you're first.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristin Fidler. I'm the administrative assistant for the Beaverton City Library. I have worked in Beaverton for 27 years. I have lived in Beaverton for 2 years. And the last book that I'm just finishing right now, just like Andrew, is the One Beaverton, Cold Millions. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm very excited for the programming, so.
Great. Laura?
I'm Councilor Laura Mitchell, and I'm so excited to be with you guys this year. This is the start of my 4th year. And the last book that I read was, I think it was called How to Make Your Bed. And I can't, that was exciting. So I love those goal-setting inspirational books. So I'm excited to be here.
Mei? You're muted, Mei.
Okay, sorry. I moved to Beaverton since 2018. I come from Hong Kong, and the book that I read is about cooking the Korean food. I got it from the library nearby, so just learn the recipe and have never tried it out. That's all.
Perfect. Cathy?
Hi, I'm Cathy Wasnick. I've lived in Beaverton going on 14 years now. This is my first year as a member of the Library Advisory Board. Last year I was an alternate. And I, like Mei, also enjoy reading cookbooks. I recently discovered the author Dory Greenspan. She's got a new book on baking. And so I was just flipping through her, I think it's called The Way I Cook. And I was enjoying her different recipes. I love her cookbooks.
Perfect. Kathleen?
Hi, I'm Kathleen. I always want to say I've lived here for 10 years, but I just looked at the calendar and I realized it's actually 12-ish. So that's gonna take a minute for my brain to change. It's my first year on the advisory committee, I guess second year now on the advisory committee. And a book I just finished was So You Want to Talk About Race by Ijeoma Oluo. And that's good. I don't know.
Perfect. Victoria?
I'm Victoria. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at the library. I live just a smidge outside of Beaverton, but I worked for Beaverton for 14 and a half years. I can't remember what the last book I read was, but I am reading We Are Not Like Them. It's an adult fiction title, and it's really, really good.
Great. And Sara?
I'm also currently reading one book, Beaverton, and I am very much touched with the lives of the immigrants and how they were struggling in the beginning. It was very painful for me to read that book. And I have been 6 years in Beaverton and 6 years in, this is my last year with this book.
Great. All right. So in that case, has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes for the December 8th meeting? Anything they want to bring up before we call for approval?
One thing that I noticed is just a small thing that I was not listed as being in attendance, and I was there. Small thing.
Anything else? Then do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended by Cathy? All right, I have a motion from Sara. Do I have a second? Mei. Perfect. All right. And I guess we vote to approve the minutes as amended. All in favor? Excellent. So in that case, the motion carries and the minutes are amended. All right, I believe next up on our agenda is public comment. It looks like we do have somebody from the public. So Eric, you have 2 minutes. We should be unmuting you.
Yes, hi, good evening. I'm Eric Wynkoop. I don't have any comments to make per se. I live in Beaverton, been here for 17 years, and I just finished the book called Unstoppable by Bill Nye. My interest tonight in joining you is very simply to learn a little bit more about how the advisory board for the library functions. I'm a frequent user of the library, a big fan of the library. And so it's just an educational evening for me. And thank you very much.
All right, perfect. Glad to have you here. All right, in that case, I don't see any other members of the public, so we'll move on. Councilor Mitchell, would you like to give your report?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I realized I forgot to answer. So I moved here in 2006. So this is the start of my 17th year in Beaverton. So I love the Beaverton area. It's gorgeous. Okay, so what I've got for you guys. So it's interesting, you know, it's the start of the year. Generally, you know, we are kind of getting our wheels spinning, you know, trying to understand like what exactly the assignments are going to be looking like throughout the year. But because of the new form of government and a bit more structure, we have all of our assignments. So when you're a city councilor, you not only serve on the council, but you serve on many boards, you know, as a liaison, but there's a lot of other regional boards, like a joint water commission, community action boards, the PRCA board, OTBC board. I mean, all these, so probably like 30 to 40 boards. So, you know, we have a lot, it's a pretty heavy lift as far as being able to attend all the meetings all the time. But we have it kind of pinned down. So that's pretty exciting. I think that a lot of people maybe don't know that council work is not just like, hey, I get to show up on Tuesday. Like I remember when I first was exploring what a councilor was, like, oh, I'm here on a Tuesday. I get a packet like a few days before, like a week before, and I read it. And it's just so much more, you know, than that. Like every single night this week, I have a council item, and I work full time, you know, and I have a 13-year-old daughter. And so it's just, I'm very humbled to be able to serve. And it's so eye-opening. I always tell my daughter, you know, especially when I'm trying to like slam dinner together and stuff, it's like getting ready for the marathon. You know, if you can do all of this, you can do anything. And so it's a lot of fun. But so now that we have this squared away, we've got all the assignments broken out. So now we're just going to kind of focus and see what our year looks like as far as meetings go. And then one thing that's been very constant about our council, since I've joined at least, is change. You know, right when I joined, we started rewriting the charter, and then all of a sudden we had a change of government, and then we had, you know, new counselors, and now we have another change. You know, we brought on that city manager. She is amazing, Jenny. And now we have, you know, it's a campaign year again. So we've got some seats up. And I think one of the great things that this council has been able to overcome is being able to be agile enough to adapt at a moment's notice, because, you know, we're here to serve the community, and we have to, no matter what the tools are that are given to us, and no matter who it is that we're working with. We promise, you know, we took that oath that we would do it to our best of ability. And so, you know, we're just been on our toes for going on 4 years now. And it's been amazing. And I think we're just kind of trying to recalculate, you know, what is that going to look like? What are the how are all these assignments going to be impacted when we're having, you know, changes? Because, you know, Councillor Mark Fagan stepped down. So now there's this little, you know, conversation of, do we appoint? Do we not appoint? What does that look like? You know, so that's an ongoing conversation. You know, we're leaning, maybe not appointing, but who knows? It could change on a moment's notice. Something could be brought up at a meeting, and we could all say, oh, we didn't think about that. You know, that's a good idea. Okay, this is how we're going to move forward. And I think ultimately, we want to be diligent with taxpayer dollars. We really want to understand, how do we get the biggest, most diligent bang for your buck, you know, and how do we be able to have all the tools in place to serve the city the way it deserves to be served. And then the very last thing is lots of at the beginning of every year, we talk about a lot of different capital projects that are rolling out, a lot of different, you know, firsts that are going to be happening. What does it look like when we, you know, have a state of the city address at the PRCA? That'll be the first time. How do we do that? How do we navigate COVID and being able to showcase what all of us have put so much time and effort and money into? You know, how do we get everybody a great seat to see what's going on? So, last night in our meeting, we talked about a lot of the different things, like the fountain. You know, I mean, when we go to the library, especially in the summertime, I tell you that that project has been in the works since I actually was, before I was a counselor. And then we actually broke ground, and now we're at a point where we're supposed to launch. And I'm so excited because we have this beautiful library, and then we're going to have this beautiful landscape that's just going to complement it, you know. So we could not have asked for a better design, and especially like in the evening hours when the lights come on, it is going to be amazing. So I think we have a huge year ahead of us that's going to bring a ton of deliverables. And you know, if you guys have any questions during that time or anything like that, please feel free to reach out and let me know. So I'm happy to be here. And I think because of all of the meetings, this will be in every other month for my committees. So I will not be here next month, but I'll be here the month after. But definitely in the meantime, if you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me anytime.
All right, thank you very much. Any comments for Councillor Mitchell? All right, perfect. So I guess we'll move along our agenda. Partner reports. I don't know if we have anybody, but I don't see any teens. I'd probably notice. Anybody know anything about what the Beaverton Library Foundation or the Friends are up to? Okay. Cathy?
Yes, I was just wondering, because I know Kathleen used to kind of be the, I don't know if liaison is the right word, but she used to attend their meetings. Has anything been decided about how that was going to be handled for this year?
I actually have it on there as new business. That's the subcommittee discussion. We'll see how we want to do it. I didn't expect anybody would, but just in case someone happened to attend those meetings, I figured I'd open the floor. All right. In that case, we'll move to the old business and we'll go over the Safe Child policy. Everyone should have received a copy of it.
Hi, thank you. Andrew, I'm not 100% sure on where we are at on this policy because I know in November Carson discussed the various edits. So I'm unsure if tonight we are ready to vote to pass the policy or we want to continue the discussion.
Let's discuss it a little bit and see if the board is ready. If we have more comments or if we're not prepared, then we'll take it as is.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So I guess in that case, does anyone have any questions about the Safe Child policy? Any additional comments? I know that it was discussed quite a bit last year. I think everyone was there for that. We don't have any new members who weren't alternates, so it's not completely fresh to anyone. So any comments, any concerns, anything anybody want to bring up to deal with the Safe Child policy?
I guess to me, it seemed like a lot of the things that we had talked about and the changes that we had discussed looked like they were recorded there in that document that they sent out. So looks good to me.
All right. Kathleen, Mei, Sara, anything from any of you? No?
That's good for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. All righty.
All right. Then I guess in that case, if everybody's happy with it and they made the edits that we suggested, I think in that case we can have a motion if anybody's interested in, I don't know what the official is, approving or adopting or putting our seal on it for the library, because it's a library policy, but we're just saying whether or not we like them. So I don't know what the appropriate term is, but do we have any motion to do anything with the Safe Child policy?
Before that, Victoria, is this the last final draft or is there any changes coming up?
This is the final draft, though I do see we need to remove a teeny tiny little strikeout in it. And then once you guys, so I guess technically you adopted it in January 2006, but you maybe are approving the update. I don't know, I'm just trying to help you with vocabulary. And then once the vote is passed, we will change the date to reflect whatever day you vote to pass the update. Does that make sense?
All right. I did notice there were a couple of strikeouts on the one that we received and things like that. I don't know how those will, I assume those will just go away.
Yeah, I'll fix that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, in item 2 and item 5, it looked like there were a couple there. All right. So bearing that in mind, would we like to, do I have a motion to approve the update to the Safe Child policy, or deny it, or table it for later?
I move that we adopt it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a second?
Yeah.
I will table it for later with all the corrections. We can see it with the updated date. So from when it will be effective.
Say again, Sara?
So this says like, as Victoria mentioned, there will be an update accepted by the Library Advisory Board, January 2006. Updated maybe in January 2022, or is it going to be the same date?
Yeah, I just can't change that until you guys, until it passes something. I don't know the date to put there. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, so I'll adjust it as soon as I have a date, I promise.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can whatever you want to select.
I believe we're looking for a second.
Okay.
As motion to approve it. Mei?
Yeah. A second.
Okay. All right, then at that point, I believe we all vote. The motion has been passed and seconded to adopt the update January 2022. Can I get votes to do that? I don't know if you're voting, Sarah, your video cut out.
What happened is.
All right, I see 3 votes at the moment. Oh, sorry, Kathleen, your blurring has blurred out your hands. And all right, so bearing that's 4 people and possibly Sarah, I'd say the motion is passed with a quorum. So thanks for your help, Victoria.
Thank you. Can I give a tiny update regarding future policies that will be coming to the board?
Perfect, go ahead.
So the group that brought you these edits, the Anti-Racist Action Committee at the library, will be bringing you another policy possibly next month, and that will be use of the children and teens room. Okay. And I'll make sure next time that you guys get the original and edited version at the same time to just make the process go smoother. Each time I will come with staff members, but as part of this process, we want them to grow and learn just like Carson presented to you. And so you'll get to meet other library staff members, but I'll come with them because they might not know all the historical things behind a policy, but you'll get to know some of them as well. Any questions about that? So we hope to move through 3 of the library's kind of smaller in length policies and then work on the larger rules for use policy, but that'll be a while. Okay, well, thank you for having me then. I will get this finalized and I will leave the meeting for the evening.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, I believe what's up is some new business, and the first one up there is actually going to be pretty relevant to our interests, voting procedures. So we have this Zoom process, and as we just kind of noticed, it's kind of awkward. I have a couple suggestions on how we could make it a little easier to tell who's voted and who hasn't, but I'm willing to table any suggestions, or so if you have anything that you'd like to suggest for how we can make the process a little easier. Start with Councilor Mitchell. It looks like she has an idea.
Yeah, I've been in a few of these meetings. And I think one thing, especially for public record, that's the easiest way, especially if you have like a presentation up or something like that, it's hard to see people back and forth. So when you call for a vote, just have whoever's taking your minutes do what's called a roll call. And then you just go down your roll and, you would say, okay, Andrew, Mei, and then you say yay, nay, however you want to vote. And then that way you capture it correctly every single time. And it's what works for us. Anything can work for you guys. It's a more controlled group, but that's one of the easiest ways to document it.
Okay, perfect. Any other suggestions?
Well, I guess just one other thought that I had was, like how with Kathleen with her hand kind of blurring, you couldn't see it. I guess I noticed on the reactions that there's a raise hand function. So I guess people could just do that if that was one option, in case we couldn't see people take real hands.
Yep. That was actually one of the ones I was thinking of as well. Any other suggestions?
For some reason, I'm not having the raised hand for me.
It's under along the bottom. There might be a reactions, but if you don't see it, then that would definitely be a good reason not to do it that way.
Okay. I think I need some setting changes. Or...
Okay, well, no, that's good to bring up. If you don't see that option, then you never get to vote, and I don't think that's fair. So,
because my video was on and off, and might be due to any some settings in my system. But if you have, everyone can see it. If I'm not able to see it, we can go with that option, and next time maybe I can look it up there.
All right. So, and this doesn't have to be anything that is set in stone. We can always change it on the fly. I just want to have a procedure in place so that we can actually go through. And I think we could definitely try the roll call, but if you want to try raise hands, that'll work. Another option that I could suggest is we do have the chat. So if you wanted to vote using the chat, we could do that. I believe if you vote there, everyone can see you. So it should be visible to everybody. So that's another option. So does anyone have a preference among those three? I guess we'll hold off on the raise hand function until everyone can push that button. Mei?
Yeah, I think just raise up our hands for 1 or 2 seconds, then screen capture it. Then I think the secretary can watch, can read it and watch the screen capture without any problem after that. Or just raise up our hands for a few seconds, then that will be fine already. Okay.
The only reason I'm bringing up that it's tricky is because sometimes when people have the blur on, you can't see that they've raised their hand. We were seeing that with Kathleen earlier, that when she raised her hand, we couldn't tell.
We can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep on holding your hand up. And then, right. I think that's more efficient. Okay.
I think you made a good point, Andrew, about the raise hand function not being a good idea, especially if everybody doesn't have it. I guess I'm wondering, Kristin, you're usually the one who takes the notes. Is there a way that would be easier for you?
Oh, I'm saying, oh, that's very sweet. Nah, I mean, whatever y'all want is what we'll do. It's all the same to me. Yeah.
All right, Councilor Mitchell.
One thing to think of, and I don't know how often this would happen, but if you have a caller who calls in and maybe they don't see you, it might be nice to capture just verbally, like even if you use the raise hand function or use the notes, you can just, somebody at least reads it off like, okay, this is what the votes are, yes, no, and then just that way you move on.
Okay.
And good point too, I think, because like when Sarah's video went out, we couldn't tell it, like you were saying, I hadn't thought about not being able to see someone. So I think that's a good idea to just kind of verbally have everybody do it.
All right. So it sounds like we can kind of vote as we were, but then have Kristin go through and count up the votes to confirm. Does that sound about right?
Sure.
So we'd all raise our hands or whatnot. We think it passed, but then Kristin would go through and confirm all of our votes to make sure that we didn't lose somebody because of a camera issue, or have somebody blurred out, or they were scratching their head and we thought it was a yes. So just to double check. How does that sound, Kristin?
That sounds fine. Yeah.
All right. Then we'll do that from here on. I don't have any more votes for the rest of the things, so we won't really get to try it.
We could practice with this right now.
All right. How does that sound as a procedure going forward? Obviously, we can change it. Let's use our new procedure to vote and then see if that works.
Okay, so I have Andrew voting yes, Kathleen Perry voting yes, Cathy Wasnick voting yes, Sara voting yes, and Mei voting yes.
All right, that seems to work. Is that what you were suggesting, Councilor Mitchell, or did we take our own tack to it?
No, I think that's perfect. And if you know for certain that everybody raised their hands and it's very clear, you might want to just say unanimous, and that way you don't have to keep saying people's name.
That makes perfect sense.
All right, great. So with that out of the way, we're going to move on to the next one. That's what Cathy brought up earlier, subcommittees. So it was brought up at towards the end of last year that we might want to have people going to see the Library Foundation or the Friends. We don't have a full number of board members here, so it might be a little tricky, but the suggestion was that we could put together subcommittees that would trade off, so it wasn't even something they had to do every month, and attend those meetings. So I'm opening up the floor for discussion on that.
I guess I was wondering, do we know when the Friends of the Library meet? Like what day of the week and how often?
I believe they meet on Wednesdays as well, and I believe they meet once a month. They might meet on the first Wednesdays. It's my memory. I do not know. I do not have an idea of the foundation though.
And I guess too, the other thought that I had was that since Glenn usually goes to the foundation meetings, I didn't know if we really needed to have one of us go as well, because he usually tells us everything that happens at those meetings.
That's fair. Any other comments? Discussion? All right, well, it sounds like we might not need somebody at the foundation. What do people think about the idea of having a subcommittee trade-off going to the Friends meetings? Or if somebody wants to volunteer to just do it.
I definitely like the idea of sharing the responsibility with someone else if other people were interested.
All right. Is anyone else interested? It sounds like it's once a month. Kathleen? I don't know if you're interested or if you have a comment. Either way, the floor is yours.
Yes, I'm happy to be in the group if someone's willing to share responsibility with me.
I'd share.
Okay. Anyone else? Or we could have a subcommittee of 2. That works.
Yeah, you can input me too.
All right. Perfect. All right. So according to our bylaws, the subcommittee can be formed by a motion and a majority of the board. The motion must have a description of the purpose, scope, number of members, and duration of the subcommittee. So I'll formalize it. I'll say that the motion would be to have a subcommittee attend the Friends of the Beaverton City Library's meetings. The scope is just to attend those. The number of members, at the moment it's 3. We're willing to have more, but I don't know if that has to be changed by another motion. And then the duration of the subcommittee is the rest of the year. And then we can always, because we'll probably have new members since we're down 2 at the moment.
Yeah, and we can bring it up next month also, as we are. I don't see the new members this month.
This is everyone.
No, we have a new members too, yes?
No, the other Sara resigned and we had an empty slot. So we're currently at 5.
Oh, okay.
We do have a quorum, but yeah, we're at 5. So in that case, does that sound reasonable as the motion? Does anyone have anything else to add? And then you can discuss amongst yourselves, and I think you'd have to CC Kristin because it becomes, or something because it becomes actual board business on any of your emails.
I guess the only thing that I would add is I think for the scope you said to attend the meetings, and I think probably that part of that would be to then report back to during our meetings of everything that was discussed, or kind of a synopsis of what took place. Yes,
agreed. To attend those meetings and then report as part of the partner reports process. And you can figure out amongst yourselves how to rotate it or anything like that. Because who knows what your availability schedule is going to be like.
I can go for 3 months, so others can share the other months. So whatever the months you want to give it to me, and I'm happy to take. If you're Kristin or anyone is doing, you can put my name for 3 months.
All right. Well, the subcommittee will figure out which months you guys can coordinate. Just make sure to CC, I think, Kristin, unless there's somebody else, just because it's official business and you have to have somebody in the government CC'd on all those. So it's not, there's no issues.
Sounds good.
All right. So that is the motion. Do we have anyone move to approve that? All right. It looks like Cathy. And then do we have a second? Sara, perfect. And then we can do our vote process. All right. So the motion has been moved and carried and seconded. All in favor?
And the vote is unanimous to approve the motion to create a subcommittee.
Perfect. And at that point, if somebody's like, no, I didn't vote, or I didn't raise my hand, that would be a great time to jump in. All right. So yeah, it sounds like it's once a month. So you'll probably each attend 4 of these. Actually, this one is probably missed, so less than 4.
Yes, and I can put Michelle Caldwell is the staff liaison for the new friends. So I will tomorrow send an email to Michelle and CC the 3 of y'all so y'all can start working with her and CC me on anything that you need to.
Thank you.
All right. And yeah, next meeting, you'll let us know how it goes. If there's any issues, we'll take actions then. All right. Director's report. I don't believe we have anything. Yeah. Okay. We'll have a doubly long director's report next month. All right. I didn't see any comment cards. Were there any that I missed, Kristin?
Yes, I sent some out with yesterday's link.
Okay, that must be my problem. All right. Okay, so we have comment cards. It looks like we have 5 items. So I'd suggest that we take turns reading them. Who would like to read the first one?
I'll go first. I
Perfect.
really like this one. The brown truck in the library parking lot was last registered in 2019. It's full of papers and trash, which likely mold in the cold, damp weather. Would someone do a wellness check on the occupant? Not a healthy environment.
All right, and normally here's where Glenn would pipe in and say what actions were taken on these, but this is nothing that the advisory board can do anything about, unfortunately. All right, next one. All right, if Sara?
Yeah, I can go. Suggestion, can you add more deadening materials in room 1, 2, and 3? Sounds from adjacent rooms make study nearly impossible. Too distracting.
All right, I haven't had the pleasure of trying out those rooms and seeing how bad it is. I hate to ask, but Kristin, do you have any idea how it is?
I don't know how, I mean, I don't know. I've certainly walking by have heard people having conversations in them. I don't know what it's like in the rooms. The library is generally fairly quiet. So the comment sounds like the complaint is coming from people using the rooms or not, or outside of the rooms.
It sounds like it's coming from inside the rooms because they're hearing people next to them.
Okay, yeah. And we all know, as we all know, we can't, because of the HVAC issues, we can't build walls to the ceiling, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there are those sound deadening materials and things, but they eat into the floor space. All right. Cathy, do you want to read the next one?
Sure, yeah. So it says, please get Value Line small and mid-cap publication that has all the PDFs on companies. And the staff name was very helpful in trying. I'm not familiar with Value Line.
Nor am I.
Yeah, it's a mutual funds publication, and I know back when it was in paper copies, we had it. I mean, this was, I've worked here too long, 27 years. So we used to have it, and now perhaps now that it's an online subscription, maybe it's the cost is prohibitive. And I know that comment was passed along to the manager in charge of that section. So
great. Mei, do you want to read the fourth one?
I'm still searching for the your email. I read it, but I can't find it.
It's no trouble.
Sorry.
Read them if that's fine.
I read it. Can't get it from my email account. So maybe someone help me
Somebody
to
can
read
share.
it.
If you can share the screen, you can share it and make it read it.
I can read it.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It just says, I can't say enough, which I agree with this person entirely. I can't say enough how I truly appreciate the help of the research librarians. Merry Christmas. I say bravo.
All right. Well, that's just good to hear. Nothing we can do other than applaud the research librarians. And I'll just read the last one. I like the Magic Treehouse and Pixie Tricks books along with the Imagination Station books. I really love your books and more. So, excellent. So just jumping back to the agenda. Does anybody have any comments they want to make about the comment cards? All right. In that case, do we have any additional business we want to cover? Anything else you want to bring up that's not on the agenda or something you want to talk about? Now's the time. We're in miscellanea. Mei?
Yes, back to the comment card about the environment. I'm rather seriously concerned about the environment outside the library. So is it anyone or any department? This is the question I asked again some time ago about the environment. Anyone, any department to take care of it? Because we have raised the question, we know the problem from our patron, and are we going to reflect it to the department's concern to take care maybe of the cars staying in the park for years, something like that? Any department beside it is not the library to take care of these things, I know, but will the message be sent to the departments concerned in our city to take care of these things?
If I can jump in here, I know that this is a huge concern in our community because we want the library to be a safe environment, both inside and out. And so while the police know, they are very, the bike team, they know all the people who live in the parking lot. And, you know, this is a tricky one because it's really about policy enforcement and the type of policies that are designed to handle the situation. And you know, there's a back and forth of a humanitarian approach. And then when is that balanced with patron needs? What does that look like? So it's a huge policy discussion, and it's really gotten nowhere, but I definitely appreciate people who take the time to speak about it, because I know just for me, not representing the whole council, but just as myself, it's very frustrating. I feel like there should be greater action that we can take to really get the environment to a place where If we're going to engage in a safe parking program, then that's what we should do. But we shouldn't just leave these lingering situations, because it truly does not help anybody who's in need by just letting them sit there and be in an environment that could be really harmful to their own health. But at the same token, when the police reach out with resources, and those resources are declined, there's not much more that can be done. So, definitely keep bringing those concerns forward. I'm happy to convey those in meetings, and just listen to all community concerns, because I think it's very important. And I don't think that it's gotten the attention of the council in the way that it should.
All right, did that answer, May? I know that Glenn would probably know for sure what action was taken about that specific request. But without him, anything else that you wanted to bring up? Anybody else have any other business they want to talk about? The One Book, One Beaverton thing is quite good.
I want to see the Beaverton city branch that's in the Salisbury, and the board, it's like under the board, the stones are broken. It's like for 3 months or 2 months, I always forget to talk in the meeting. But if you can, I don't know who to talk to, or the board that stands like library, under that, the stones are like cracked or broken. And I don't know who needs to address that.
Yeah, we can talk to that is a space that we lease. So I don't know if it's city, I doubt it's city responsibility, but I can send an email to the supervisor over at Murray Shoals and ask her about what's happening with that, and ask her if the leasee, the landlord, knows about it.
Yeah, so the library, it's like facing here, and this part of towards the side that is facing the library, and it's cracked.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
If I go ahead and take a picture.
If you do that and you send me the picture, that would be great. But I can reach out to you don't have to do that. I can reach out to Tracy and ask about it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great. Anything else anybody want to bring up? All right. In that case, I guess without the director's report, we move it right along. We don't know as much, but we get a little more free time. So unless anyone else has anything else, I guess we'll be adjourning our meeting as of 6:50. So thank you all for coming. And our next meeting should be on February 9th. So mark your calendars.
Thanks, everyone.
Good job, Andrew.
Thank you.
You led the way.
This is the shortest meeting in my...
I know.
I love it.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Good to see you all.
Thanks, everybody.